Hi, I'm Sharon Fernandez, and I'm a candidate for the Master's in Educational Human Resource Development at Texas A&M. I've got a few minutes here to talk about quite a lot, so I'll try to do the best I can to cover some of the highlights over the last really 6 years that I've been working on this degree program. I started the program and completed about half of it in about 18 months, and then took a couple of years off as I had various changes occurring in my personal and my professional life, and then returned to do this second half of the program. So what you'll see as you look at my online portfolio is that I've tried to group the classes together really into two different categories. Either ones that were more focused around kind of the more foundational training and learning perspectives, and then others that I felt had given me more of an opportunity to expand things in a more personal and unique way, and a more professional approach. So I've put the foundational pieces together under what I'm titling more of a learning, and I've put the areas that I feel like are a little bit more unique to me, and I've been able to apply them in a different way under what I've labeled as a leading category. So you'll see that throughout my portfolio, I've got a quote there that is really a definition of education, or the Latin root of education, coming from both training, so to learn, to train, and to lead, or to lead out, to lead others. And I really loved that definition when I found it. I had not seen that before. That may be something other folks are familiar with, but I felt like it was highly representative of the experience that I've had, and really the way the program works itself. So those two areas of focus, and how you can then take them and apply them in your personal and professional lives. When I look back over so much of what we've studied, because it covered such a broad area, there's a couple of key things that jump out to me, or key people that jump out to me. One, it goes probably without saying, Malcolm Knowles' not only impact on adult learning, but for me personally, just understanding adults. So hard to separate learning from everything else that we do, because so much change occurs in our lives. And I really see the reaction to that as an opportunity to learn, and people do learn from those. They may learn differently, and some may learn more. But looking at just some of the basic tenets of what he's proposed was very helpful to me. So, one, being the value of experience. I feel that I've pretty much lived that myself during this program. So as I said, I completed part of the program up front, half of it, and then took some time off and completed the second half. And I feel like when I look at the work that I did in the first half of the program, and then the work that I did in the second half of the program, I see some big differences in myself, and I think that's very much a reflection of the experiences that I had in between those two eras of time. And they really changed the way I looked at information and the way that I'm applying it. And it helps me at the same time then appreciate how others might be coming with different experiences, and how that impacts their reaction to the learning opportunities that are presented to them. So I would definitely say the experience components of Knowles, as well as a couple of other key areas. So one being just respect for each individual, and how they see themselves, and the value that they bring to whatever opportunity you might be looking at, as well as really looking at how do we make something relevant and kind of problem-centered. So, for adults, They're looking for how do they take something and use it in their life in a valuable way. So again, those are probably things that you might intuitively pick up on a little bit, but having the framework to work within, I think has been helpful, certainly helpful to me and probably helpful to others. And then I would say there's a couple of other folks who really jump out at me when I look at areas that we focused in on that, at least in my application, have been really helpful. One is McCluskey's theory of margin, and I know I'm probably the only one who will talk about this, but really having, again, a framework to work within where you can understand the differences that occur within people. So the fact that they may have the same opportunity presented to them doesn't mean that it really truly is effectively the same opportunity, because there's so many other areas outside of their one situation. So you may both be able to go to the same program, but a single mom who has lots of other demands on her, it does change, one, your ability to be involved in that program, and two, even the amount of time that you can spend on it, that you can focus on it, even if it's not chronological time, if it's really just focus. And I think for me, that's been just helpful to be able to think about that as I'm looking at other people that I have within maybe my professional community, and really understanding, okay, what other things might I need to be considering so that I am making sure that people have as much access and opportunity as they can. So I personally found that one to be useful. I also really enjoyed Schoen's reflection, really in action. Reflection on action, I tend to do a bit naturally, or certainly have learned that over time. So I am pretty reflective as far as things that I've already done, and reflecting back and how could I have improved that, or how could I do that differently for the next time. But it was really almost eye-opening to me to read about reflection in action. So having the awareness to consciously choose, kind of reflect on how things are going in the moment as they are occurring, and then making changes for that. That's another area that for me has been very helpful as I take that forward and apply it into my own life. I did want to hit on a couple of courses. Overall, obviously, I won't be able to, in this short video, walk you through all of my coursework, but I just wanted to pick up a couple of individual classes that I found to be really meaningful to me. One was my course in research, so learning to do research was really helpful, but getting the opportunity to choose what I would do research on, which in my case I chose to do research on language and gender, and the differences in the linguistics that are used by males and females, and how that may impact opportunities to move into different leadership roles. That was fascinating to me and really gave me some very useful and practical information that I could apply not only for myself, although I did for myself as well, but really as I am working with others to understand, one, any biases I may have as I'm looking at things and hearing the language, as well as the way others may see that, so that I can influence, both as maybe we're interviewing candidates or looking at folks for different opportunities, and also coach others in how they might want to just make some changes to some of their word selection or the way they approach things to help them move forward. So I really enjoyed that class, and I found it to be really, really useful. And then more recently, I took a class on learning in older adults, and I had the opportunity to do a research project on volunteering, and how volunteering can help older adults maintain not only activity levels, but really kind of mental fitness and social connections as well, and really overall health through that. And what was really interesting to me was some of the folks that probably would benefit the most from being able to be a volunteer and have those health benefits that come with that are probably lower income seniors, although many seniors tend to move into the lower income brackets anyway, but on the lower end of that, you've got folks who unfortunately have very limited ability to get transportation. So perhaps they could take a bus that may be too challenging for them as they're an older adult, and even if they can, then they have to have funds to be able to take that bus to participate in volunteer programs that would actually help not only the organization they're volunteering with, obviously the people who are supported by that organization, but also the individual and their own health. So that was something that gives me really information that I can do something with. I don't think very many people are looking to solve that problem. How do we make it easier for people to do volunteer work, because it's good for all of us when we do that. So I enjoyed that class. I learned a lot in that class, but then I also had the opportunity to really do some research myself and see what I wanted to do with that. So overall, as you look at my program again, you've got the components around learning and you've got components around leading. And I feel that I've been able to use all of those outside of my coursework, besides in my coursework, and see some real benefits. And I expect to see that going far into the future, long after I have graduated from Texas A&M. So please feel free to look at this online portfolio. Reach out to me if you have any questions. My contact information is both on my resume as well as within the website itself, so you can reach out to me in various ways, whatever would work best. And I look forward to graduating from A&M and remaining active in a learning community well beyond that.